Hey, everybody. It's Email and Coffee with Joy Brooks. And today I'm speaking with, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm MerriLyn Gibbs. I own a business called Assistance for Hire. We are a team of VAs that help our clients do everything from digital marketing, email management, lead generation, business assistance, and finally, our last bucket is content creation. I also do productivity coaching independently, and I am located in New York City.
There you go. Wonderful New York City. How is New York City these days?
It is busy.
Oh, that's
We
good.
are, I'd say the common phrase right now is we are back to normal. Subways are packed, tourism is back. Yes, very much.
Excellent. Long live New York. So today I thought we'd talk a little bit about the concept of events, digital events, things that whether it's just a video and you're introducing an event in the long run, or if you've got an event that you're literally running from a platform, many times like Instagram and things like that. Lots can go wrong, lots can go right, a lot of planning. So I thought we try to organize that for people, give them a little bit of the do's, the don'ts, the how-tos, the tips. So, you are, as you said, this is what you do for a living. This is part of the package. So how do you go about preparing, discussing, organizing, developing the concept with a client that comes to you and says, we're thinking about X. What should we do with it? And you're like, oh, this is an event type of,
Mhm.
content. And here's what I suggest.
Yes. Well, first we have to have a theme or a goal in mind, right? What are we really trying to create? We do everything from an hour webinar with our clients where they are teaching, it's interactive, it's a workshop style, to more of leading a mastermind group, right? Where they have several people in the room and they're really discussing what kind of topics they're implementing, scaling all the way down to 1-minute videos on a weekly basis, Friday tip day, right? On social media. And that is still a type of an event that you're planning. So we do everything from creating an online event. We even do planning for live events now, now that we're back in back in full swing. We will actually get all that information, the promotion online, find the venue, etc., for our clients for live events as well. So it really depends on what are they trying to create. So that's the first question, is the planning stage. What is the purpose of this? What are we trying to create? Are you trying to generate more leads? Are you trying to actually create information? You just want to share what your knowledge is, right? You want to give information that will then hopefully have people come work with you because you've now established yourself as an expert, whatever it is. So figuring out the planning stage. The next step is then we need to write some copy around that. We need to know what it is. What's the name of this? I'm just going to use an example of what I'm currently doing with my team. We're launching Friday Tip Day starting this month. And so the first step is, what are our themes? Decided that we're going to do a theme every single month for the next 6 months. And what are those things? We're starting off with Gmail. Next month will be LinkedIn, and we'll continue on that way. And we'll have one video every week that launches with those series. Okay, so that's one example. Another example is that I actually host an event every other week called Coffee and Chat, where it's a mastermind style. It's a group of entrepreneurs, up to 10 people, and they come every week and they meet and we talk, and I have a couple of questions to guide them on the theme for the month. right now our month is preparing for Q4, looking back and deciding and not knowing what we've accomplished so that we can then finish the year strong with what our goals are going to be. So that does that help? Did that answer the question?
Yeah,
Kind of creating the strategy?
there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, you know, when you know, you touched upon goals, and that's it can differ. It could be, let's not call it gratuitous, but it can be just, you know, keep me top of mind. I don't want you to forget about me. So I'm going to combine, I'm going to give you, maybe it'll be something humorous. Maybe it'll be, you know, I talk to people on the street and it's just entertainment. But it may be that it's a piece of gateway content. So you may be inviting people for, let's say you record something that was excellent, your mastermind, for example. I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying, let's say you do a mastermind and you want to invite other people for the next session, but you want to give them a sample. So you create one, you release it, and this gives people, oh, this is what it's like. Great. I want to sign up. So they then sign up. So you're lead nurturing. It's a gateway piece of content. Now you've got live events that can happen on Instagram, and I, having been involved in one, those live events can get crazy because you just don't know. You're live, it's it, and all sorts of technical things can happen, good and bad. So it's almost like you've got all these expectations whereby, okay, this is a piece, this, you know, we are recording this for posterity. It's going in the vault. It's going to go in the archive. We're recording this for posterity. We're going to see if we can use it as lead nurturing. You've got expectations there. It goes in the vault. You may say, let's see if people visit it, whatever. But if you're using it to manage some sort of future attendance, you know, it's more meaningful now. So you've set expectations. This is going to get us the next group. You set expectations. And those things, people need to be aware of. You've got a live event, it's on Instagram, it doesn't go like you planned because for whatever reason, you just couldn't get it together. And it's going, you can't stop it. You told everybody to be there. It's a live event. You can't say, okay, everybody go home, we're sorry, never mind. So, you know, you've got these expectations and you really do need to have an A plan, even perhaps a B plan. Have you ever had that?
Yes, we have done lives on Instagram, Facebook, and now LinkedIn with our clients. And again, it comes down to be as prepared as you possibly can. So I remember when we started working with our client on Instagram Live, she really had no experience. And so we just got onto a call and did a walkthrough with her. Like, okay, here's the buttons. This is what you push if you see it. And it's always good to remind people that you can take down a live event. Let's say it just does not go well. You can delete it afterwards, right? It doesn't have to live there forever. And sometimes the first one doesn't go very well. A lot of times you don't get the traction you thought. You're on there and you don't see one other person. This is probably one of the things we have to prepare our clients for. And the whole thing that I tell them is you need to pretend like they are there. No one on that camera knows besides you who's on your live event. They can't see the people on the screen that you can. So you need to pretend like they're there, whether they're not. So for instance, if I'm on a screen by myself, I may say something, oh, Rachel just popped in. Thanks so much for your question about blah, 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 right?
Exactly.
Because nobody else knows if Rachel's there or not. And you can always use name of people that you have very strong relationships with. They're not going to mind that you're pretending they're there, right? I always say, use your mom's name, use your daughter's name, use your 10-5 best friends' names, whatever they are. Use names of people that know that you're going to do this.
Yeah,
and they're
be
not.
prepared. If you've got a Q&A and it's just not happening, even if you have 5 people there and nobody has questions, come with a Q&A. And you know, these should be questions that are not foolish and picked out of a hat. They really should be applicable to some of the pains that everyone has. So, for example, this is the third or fourth time you've done something like this. Questions that have come up in the past. So, it shouldn't be that difficult. It's almost like what I always tell people when they want to do an email and they want to do frequently asked questions, and they're like, well, I don't have any questions. I'm like, well, I would get on the phone with your customer service rep, because I'm sure that they could come up with a few really good questions that they answer on a regular basis. So, think about things of that nature. If you are preparing a session and you are doing a Q&A and you can't come up with questions, ask your team, what kind of questions do your customers come up with when being faced with this? So, it's not an impossible thing. Questions are not brain surgery or science. They're just part of the process. Often you ask those questions. I personally have a million questions and it drives people crazy, but such is life. So you've got your expectations set up, and now you have you have an A plan, you have a B plan, and you also have we may have to take this down plan. We were talking about other types of ways to use live events as lead magnets.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So I think you already referred to it, Joy. You said something to the point of, recording my meetup group as a lead magnet for future. So it's the same concept with any type of event you're doing. Have a recorded version that you can repurpose. Could part of that video go on your website? Can it be used for social media, which is what we typically use a lot of our video for, is social media, making them very small blips that are on there, and then a link to the full session. When you make a live event, you still get it recorded and it can live on your social media channel. So that if it was on LinkedIn didn't offer that at first. I will say that, which was very frustrating. Once it was live and it ran, you couldn't archive it. It was no longer archivable. But Instagram, Facebook, they still live there, and you can take a link and you can send people back to the full video. So for instance, what we're doing right here for you on social media would be advantageous for you to make a 2 to 3 minute blip that then you can put on LinkedIn with the link to the entire podcast. Watch the entire podcast at your YouTube channel or on your website. So very similar process. And you can repurpose this podcast that you're doing of 45 minutes. You could make this a 3-month process if you wanted to. You could make 17 2-minute blips, so you're not getting viewer fatigue, but sending them to the same podcast over and over again, right? So you can repurpose it as much as you want or as little as you want. Just remember, if you have consistent viewers, you don't want them to be bored. If they just see a picture of Joy and me on every single post she posts for the next 3 months, they're probably going to stop reading it, right? Or clicking on it. They're like, oh, I've seen that before. Something else, please. So just be aware that there is this fine line between promoting, reusing, repurposing, and not overdoing.
Right, right. There's also, you can use it for signups, right?
Mhm.
So they can sign up for a future event. They could sign up for a subscription. They could sign up for an email that may not necessarily have anything to do with the video. The video is basically advertising or promoting something, and the email that you might want people to sign up to could be its distant cousin. It doesn't necessarily need to be the same thing. This is this type of stuff you get when you sign up to the newsletter. The video is part of it. So there may be some sort of a package. So you can, you can also, create as you said, blips. You could create newsletters using the video. So not only are you using the video for a sign up vehicle, but afterwards, and you've got this archive of lots of stuff, you can create small blips and send people to those blips via email. Oh, it was like the time that I was talking with some sort of a storytelling thing, and you send them over to the video. So it's giving you evergreen content.
Yes.
Galore. You do need someone to edit it. But there's lots of stuff out there these days that's fairly editable. Riverside, someone's at my door. Riverside, which is a cousin of Anchor, which is a cousin of Spotify, provides you with an online piece of software that allows you to make little chapters. So you can clip anything you like. So a lot of the software out there does that. You don't really, you could go for services because when you need an expert, oftentimes it's good to pay for the expert because you'll get the good stuff. But if you're a small time person who's has a lot of hats and doing a lot of things, planning ahead by using the right software is helpful. Do you guys?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, what do you use?
We use Descript, and we also use Vimeo. Descript is a little bit more robust. We're using Vimeo for many years, and then we just switched to Descript. So those are the two platforms that we use.
Descript? Descript?
Yep. Descript. DESCRIPT.com.
Oh, very good.
Yes. Look into them. Descript you have to pay for it, but it's very reasonable. I don't think I'm paying more than $100 a year for it.
But in many cases, a lot of the software that's online is well worth the investment.
Correct.
There's little doubt about that. Little doubt about that.
But I want to circle back because now we're talking about what do you do with the event, but what I think we've skipped is promoting the event.
Okay. Correct. Yes.
I mean, once we actually have the idea, the name, the date, the time, now we need to promote it. So yes, absolutely. In the email, your newsletters that you're sending out, make sure you have good graphics that are different. Let's say you're doing a 4-week ramp up to your event. You want to have 4 different images for that event that you can post in your newsletters, that you can post on social media. You can send out a little email blast to your VIPs to share it with other people. That's a very smart idea. Saying something like, hey, I'm having this event. Would you mind sharing it on your social media? Here's the copy. Here's the image. If you've got good friends, they're going to put that into their newsletters for you. They're going to put it on their social medias for you, or they're just going to share when you post. But you can do that. We've actually done that successfully with clients where they have a list of 20 people in a networking group that they consistently help market with each other. And we send that directly to them and they just post on their social media sites as well. So really good way to promote there. If you are doing a more of a robust event, like you're doing a webinar that's an hour, something like this, a podcast, I highly suggest Eventbrite. Setting it up on Eventbrite, because it's a search engine for people who are looking for events on topics, and it's free, right?
Right.
So you can actually gain a larger audience that may not find you on your social media, may not ever see a newsletter, but they're looking for what your topic is presenting. And they're Googling online events about email and about emailing, right? And now they're in Eventbrite and Joy's email and coffee pops right up for them to attend.
Very interesting. I did not realize that as a strategy. Are there other vehicles like that?
That's the most popular one.
Obviously there's Meetup, but
yes, Meetup we actually still successfully use for some of our clients. They have well-established Meetup groups and we do post for them there. And then the other avenue is obviously Google searching. So making sure that it's on your website, so it's part of your SEO in a search engine, making sure that it's on your social media. Most people don't understand that those tags you're putting on your social media posts are actually SEO searches. So when somebody Googles the topic or whatever you're tagging into a Google search, your post may pop up for them.
Right, exactly. Yeah, those
Yeah.
hashtags, they were really popular and then they completely disappeared. People saying, oh, don't use those anymore. No one uses those. And you just mentioned a reason to use those, that even though they, the group itself or the hashtag that, that will sort it out. So if you type in the hashtag, you'll see all the things that go underneath that hashtag. But it's not only that, it's Google's going to find them. It's Google.
Yep.
And
Correct.
that's very important for people. The biggest thing though, honestly, obviously the more organized companies, groups, associations, networking groups, whatever, they're aware that they need to begin to promote a month away. But sometimes people, for whatever reason, they forget about that, or they have an event that just pops up somewhere and they don't give it enough time. And it's not a waste of time to have the event. If something pops up and it's very important and you're going to have out of the blues a great speaker, or a venue that for whatever reason, it's timely, it's trending, it's it's just happening, it's still worth the time to put on social. I mean, that's really what social's for. And there are so many different ways to advertise on social, even if it's like, oh, it's Monday and we're going to be in there Wednesday. Well, then, you know what, do a 24-hour countdown. Think out of the box and say how many, if we could, instead of just putting one post, we're going to be there at 12 noon, start saying at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, try to do something that gets people excited. Think about it. Don't give up just because it's just happening. The most, it's difficult. It's difficult to strategize by yourself, which is why, in most cases, it is important to have networking group or actually resource with a professional that does this, right? Unfortunately, not everybody can, perhaps.
Or listen to podcasts like this
one.
Right?
Yeah. Thank you. You really, there are so many unique ways to do something. If you just don't write it off so quickly, to say, oh, I don't need to strategize. Yeah, you do. Just bounce it off some people, right? You might come up with an idea. Oh, I don't have enough time to record it, so I'm just going to go with it. Well, don't say that. You have a phone, don't you? Maybe you could do something with a phone.
Yep.
You just have to think to yourself, don't give up so quickly. If you've got a great idea, think about how you can turn that idea into something evergreen, something that can be there. Plan ahead, obviously. If you've got some sort of a Christmas party, you could have so many different things happening at that Christmas party that becomes different pieces of content. You've got all of your subject matter experts all in one place. Interview them. Hello.
Yeah.
It's just a Christmas party, but you could do a red carpet, get them all on the red carpet and have an interview. It could be fun. And now you've got your content. I like to think of I like to brainstorm. I really do like to brainstorm. And I come up with pretty hairy ideas that people are like, what is she talking about? But, obviously everything that comes out of my mouth or, out of my brain doesn't necessarily need to resonate with people. But what I am saying is that it's, video is very popular
Yeah,
for
it is.
people that can't visualize things. Hello, video is there. That's the point of video. So it helps you visualize. It is three-dimensional, where an email goes out, and because you didn't put the exclamation point, it sounds like you insulted somebody. While if you put the exclamation point, suddenly they're laughing. So email, I've always said email is one-dimensional, and sometimes it doesn't work, which is why I like having Zooms. A lot of people are like, I'm so zoomed out, I can't take it. But very rarely do you have a Zoom where people go and say, I don't know what she was talking about. But an email, you need to read it 5 times to go, what? What? Oh. Yep. So do you have any, like, I'm going to put you on the spot, any crazy ideas for videos, anything that, you've thought about that people could do that, maybe you've suggested and have worked or haven't worked, whatever?
Most of our clientele is B2B. So, we're really working primarily on LinkedIn. That's our main market. We do quite a bit of Instagram. We do Facebook. We have not gone into the sphere of TikTok yet, mostly because our clients haven't asked for it. We have the ability to make those videos for TikTok. It's just not what our clients are doing right now.
B2B is not interested in TikTok just yet.
Not yet. In May. I mean, I do think it's coming. It's blowing up in the consumer market world where it's B2C, but it's not currently a B2B hot topic. But I do see that could change easily.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the trend. And no matter what platform you're on, the more natural you can be, the better. That is the trend in video. Not as many people want to have highly polished studio videos anymore. They want a more natural look. And it's really important to remember that most people only watch a video for 20 seconds before they move on to the next. So you have 20 seconds to capture their interest. We emphasize with our clients, they need to be short. If you're putting something on social media, it really should be nothing more than 3 minutes. And we really try to get them under 1 minute if we can, 1 minute or less. And then from there, there's a link to what you would like them to see further, right? So if that is a link to a full length video like this, that would be one way to do it. Another one is to your newsletter. Maybe it's a short blip about talking about your upcoming newsletter and what this month's theme is. And here's the sign up button so that you're kind of promoting your own video, your own newsletter coming up, right? And then, of course, putting those videos in the newsletter as well is a great idea. And then we have really emphasized outdoor videos with a lot of our clients. We had a health and wellness coach for a long time. And we were we got so much more traction on when he was outside in the woods talking about how important it is to exercise and how to wake up with a morning salutation on his deck. And that was very, very popular for his channel. The ones where he was sitting in his office or he was sitting on a yoga mat in his studio, not so much. So we just really emphasized more outdoor videos for him. Yeah.
That's very interesting. I have noticed that for LinkedIn, I'm getting audio and video clips instead of messages. Now that's something
in the actual messages, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And I like them. I do like them. As I said, you get more from them, obviously, when you see them, than when you get a message that says, this is great. I'd like to talk more about it, as opposed to somebody saying, this is great. You know, you know. The one thing I think is interesting, trending, is your topic of long form. And I think that long form has its values, but it has a certain niche. And what I see happening is that television ain't what it used to be. And even, you know, honestly, the last big thing was Game of Thrones. And literally after that, the medium tanked in a big way. And streaming just went through the roof. And now what we've got is everybody's streaming everything. So whether it's a movie or whether it's a TV show, whether it's news or whatever it is, it's streaming. And that patience for long form is moving from the couch and the television set to wherever. So maybe it's moving to the car, or it's moving to the walk, or it's moving to the beach. It's just moving. It's changing a little bit. So the dynamic, and also the content. So whereby it used to be the hour-long TV show, now it can be the 3-hour podcast. Or that's, you know, whatever it is. It's an odd thing. It's just beginning to happen. It's not every piece of content. It's not every venue that can manage it. Obviously, nobody's going to sit there for 3-hour news. Well,
maybe like, I know a couple of people that do.
If it was a particular special, it may hold some water. I mean, people sat and watched Amber Heard and Johnny Depp day in and day out on court TV. So that's what I'm saying. Something very strange, and that is the longest, boringest form you can ever imagine, but people did it. I got hooked into that. I just found myself going, and I'd be like, wait, and I would run in there and have to see what was going on. So it was running in the background the whole time. That was television for sure. But what I realized was I could stream court TV off my computer. And that happened like within a day. I was like flipping back and forth to it on my computer. So something very strange is happening with video. I think that people should be aware of it, maybe even experiment. So beta testing is a worthy effort. Obviously, it's going to take time. You don't put thousands of millions of dollars into it, but you can play around with your content. If you're B2B, it's going to be different than B2C. Do you have B2C? Do you have B2C customers?
We do.
So obviously B2B and B2C do completely different things. And even a solopreneur who's selling services or products is going to do completely different things. The solopreneur, the entrepreneur, is going to be more, they're going to take more risks, don't you think? Or do things out of the ordinary.
I would say, so I'm comparing kind of my B2C client with my solopreneurs, and we do have both. So what I have found with our B2C clients are that they are much more willing to stay with a marketing plan much longer. They will really stick with the same marketing plan for a very long period because they're selling a product for the most part, right? So for instance, we've had a client for 3 years that's B2C, and we're on a very similar marketing plan than we were 3 years ago. Whereas my entrepreneurial clients, and I'm talking even in their newsletter, my client that's B2C, they still have the same look in their newsletter that they did 3 years ago. They don't want to change it. They want that recognition in the inbox the minute it pops. Where I find that my entrepreneur clients, they're constantly trying to rebrand, right? They're like, oh, MerriLyn, let's change the newsletter this month. Let's change the graphics. I want a whole revamp on what we're doing. And maybe that is considered risk-taking. I'm not sure, but that's definitely the biggest difference I would say when we're working with them is the entrepreneurs really want more change more often than the B2C clients. And what popped into my head is you said, have I done any experiments? And what popped in my head is I'm actually doing an experiment this month. Usually any type of idea that I have for strategy that I would like to implement with clients, or I think that I would be a good idea for clients, I usually implement it on my own business first. So this month, if you follow my channels, you'll see that I'm starting Friday Tip Day, where I'm actually doing Loom videos on site showing people how to do specific tasks. So this month's all about Gmail, and I'm walking you through the steps of how to schedule an email. And then the next week, I'm showing you how to create a template. And so each week is a hands-on version of me with the computer screen showing you the actual steps to do it. We'll see how it goes. Will it get a lot of traction? I don't know. But it is an idea that I had for a client that we really needed a more integrated way for them to follow what she teaches. And I'm like, let's see if it works in what we do first.
Mm-hmm. It's, it's worth the effort as long as it's not taking a lot of time, you're not wasting dollars or time or personnel on it, but it's worth the effort just to play crazy ideas through. It's that what you're doing is not crazy. The ideas I have are crazy, but I'd say if you haven't seen anybody else do it, and you have an idea, breaking it down and trying to make it as simple as possible and just testing it is really worth while. I mean, in video specifically, because the medium it's hot. It's a natural medium. And like you said, people are shying away from these directed, produced, scripted events into, I just was having an idea and I'm brushing my teeth, so I'm going to share it with you. By the way.
And we've all seen that video. We've all seen the person brushing their teeth talking on Instagram, right?
I mean, I was saying a week ago or so ago, I was saying I like, I cook. So I like cooking videos. I like cooking videos. I'm hooked. And that's the thing. If you think, I just got this idea and it's brief, it's silly, do it. People, if you can stream it, connect it, and be consistent with it, give it at least 6 tries.
Yeah.
And then on the 6th try, check it out, see what's happening.
We like to say 3 months. We like to give something at least 3 months. And and when we're talking about digital marketing, when we're reusing and recapturing these events, right? And you're putting out them for promos. And let's say you are doing a weekly event live on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, right? You're probably not going to have anyone come for the first 2 to 3 times, which is very disappointing. It's very disappointing when you're like, I put all this promo and this work, but it takes a while for traction to happen.
Yes.
And so, and the standard is in digital marketing world, it takes 10 months for you to get active traction on anything you do. That's why these B2C companies play a longer game. They know, like L'Oreal, they've had the same logo for the entire existence of their company. They've never changed their logo, right? Apple has never changed their logo. So things like that, when you think about traction, they're keeping a similar look and a similar brand because they need that look to maintain and consistently obtain more traction.
Right.
So think of it that way. It's a long game.
It really is. It is a
It
lot.
is.
And even if you are, even if you are the solopreneur or the, B2C or the D2C, whatever, and you're trying to, and you're testing around, like you said, 3 months. I've always done 3 month, 6 month, 9 month, 12 month checks. Like, how do I feel about it? How's it doing? Do I need to say anything different? Ask around, see what people are, thinking about. But you've got to do it 3 month, 6 month. I believe it. It's a quarterly check.
Mhm.
And don't give up so quickly. Don't give up so quickly. Even like you said, the first few times, it's not that it's going to fall on its face. It hasn't gotten the recognition. It's evergreen. People are going to come back to it.
Mhm.
The
Exactly.
hopes are people are going to come back to it. You're also learning yourself. So what you said the first few times, or where you were the first few times, it's not as engaging as the next few times. But when people look back at it, they can connect the dots and they're enjoying it. They don't know that this is the first time you did it and that you thought, oh my God, what am I doing? They don't know that.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, they may laugh at something that you said or done, and you are thinking how green I was. I'll never do that again. And they think it's humorous. Go figure. So
So I know I'm not the only person who is wondering this, who's watching us right now. What is the craziest video you've done, Joy?
the craziest video I've done. Oh, well, all the videos of my husband that I would not let him know that I'm videoing. And I would play them back to him and he would say, did you film that, Sonny? No, I didn't. No. So it's those personal videos that, snoring with the dogs, those types. Of myself, honestly, we don't have to go back a million years, so we won't have to talk about all of those mistakes. But I'd say, I've been pretty conservative. I recognized that social media was going to be something that would not die and would live on. And I realized it from the beginning. And I realized maybe I oughtn't be doing stupid, silly stuff on video and putting it up on the web. I recently had a situation where it was actually a lawsuit. And yes, it was on the internet. And I had to pull it off as part of the conclusion of the lawsuit. You would not blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh God, I did. So I better pull that stuff off. So you've got to remember that there's also a wayback machine for the internet. So even if you've pulled it off, it may be some places.
Yep.
Yes,
it will.
Yeah. So it's important to think to yourself. You may think, oh, this was really funny. Let's put, no, it might be really funny, and it may be funny on your device, but it may not be funny on the web. I'm pretty careful about that. Matter of fact, I think I'm overly careful about that. I think some people should be. I'd say that people who grow up with social are more liable to put anything on there. Anything. And I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years from now. And, when they're like, those baby pictures that your mother used to have of you with, you naked in the bathtub that she used to show everybody, and she whips it out, on Thanksgiving, and you're like, oh, Ma, put that away. Well, now it's on social.
Yes, it is. Yeah. You're taking me back to when I was a golf coach and I worked with 18 to 22-year-olds. And I had to have several conversations like this, like, You know what I found online? Do you know that that lives forever? That somebody can find that picture when they're looking up your name after you send in a resume?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did many
Yeah,
times.
so that's somewhat of like the gray cloud that's over my head whenever I do social. But I mean, you could do funny stuff. If it obviously you're a comedian, you're going to do funny stuff. If you're a solopreneur, you can do funny stuff. If you're young, you don't know what funny stuff is. You think pulling your pants down is funny stuff, and it's not.
Well, just for everyone out there,
I won't be pulling my
animal, yeah, don't pull down your pants, Joy.
won't be pulling my pants down.
But animals and kids. If you can get your animals or your kids involved in a quick short video,
Oh, absolutely.
those are automatic home runs. You're always going to get more traction when you got kids or animals.
As a plug, I am rebranding, and animals will be part of that rebrand.
Yeah, we have a client who's a data analysis, and we put her dog on one of her socials, and we had a caption like the dog was watching a soccer match outside of the balcony. You could see the dog going back like this, and we made it into a post about data analysis, right? Like the dog's even counting, blah, 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 or something. I can't even remember what we wrote, but that was probably one of the highest traction posts she had.
See, there you go. That's thinking out of the box. That's something crazy that just happens. You're not going to plan for that. I mean, now people are going to plan for it, but
Yes.
you don't plan for it, and it just happens, and it's brilliant. And if you're not playing around with the medium, just playing with it, because the video, I mean, it's a slam dunk. If you're not playing with it in some way, shape, and form, and you've got a business, you've got a product, you've got a service, you're just wanting to keep everything, the old expression, top of mind, video's excellent.
Yes.
Is there any better way than to end it by saying it's excellent? If people want to find you or your company on the web, how do they do that?
Well, if you spell my name correctly,
Yeah.
and Google me, you'll find everything about me. You'll see my company, you'll see my LinkedIn, but the easiest way, because my name is challenging to remember how to spell, is just go to Assistance for Hire. It's ASSISTANTS, then let the number 4 and hire. You Google that, you'll see our Google My Business page and everything associated with our business.
Cool. Did I forget anything? Any last words?
Any last words? No.
On the spot.
This was so much fun, Joy, and I hope it was valuable for all of your viewers and listeners. We're definitely going to be using this promotion tool on our side. We're going to put a link to this video on our social promoting it. We're going to be putting it in our monthly newsletter as a recap, and we may be using it for some upcoming socials. So we'll see.
Yes. Very cool. Especially me pulling my pants down. So with that note, unless you want me to go grab my dog, really ends on a high note. No, won't do that. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. And as I like to say to everybody, happy email marketing, y'all.
Yes.
Take care now. Thanks so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye.